Hey, John from Agile Off-Road. I want to introduce you to the Performance Series Shocks by Fox for the INEOS Grenadier. We've got two versions. We've got the 2.0 in a remote reservoir, and then we've got the 2.5. This is the Performance Elite. That's going to be a remote reservoir, and that will also have the DSC. This is called the EVO DSC. It has 7 low speed adjustments and 7 high speed adjustments. So what I'll do is I'll show you the two differences. There's some obvious physical differences in the shocks. The size of the shaft is larger than the size of the eyelets, but they're both going to bolt directly onto the INEOS Grenadier. Let's take a closer look at the 2.0 Remote Reservoir Performance Series shock for the INEOS Grenadier. So you're going to see that it's a direct fit. It's a factory length shock. This one's a rear. You've got your remote reservoir. They do come pre-assembled from Fox, and you're going to note that there's going to be a right and a left. This one's a left. Here's our boot. We want to put that boot on there. If you're getting those, spray a little Windex in there, snap them on there, that'll go right over it, and then there'll be a zip tie. But this will bolt directly on. They've a real good set of instructions. They give you kind of step-by-step for everything. You're going to see here, you got your cap for your Schrader. This is not an adjustment. So first of all, you don't move this tighter or looser. It's only for service in the Schrader. As well, you do not want to adjust pressure. Adjusting pressure in a remote reservoir, not really an efficient way of doing it. That's designed to keep cavitation to a minimum under compression. So this shock is a 2.0. Inside of the shock, the piston's just under 2-inch. It's an aluminum body. You got aluminum reservoir, aluminum body, so your corrosion resistance will be really good. Your steel sleeves, they're stainless. Again, your corrosion resistance will be real high. You got urethane bushings. You do have a bump stop on your shaft. This does have digressive valving. So what digressive valving does for you, gives you a little bit more road holding or a little bit better street ride when you're at low speed. So pulling in and out of driveways, driving down the freeway, doing a country road, you get that low speed, you get a lot more control at that low speed, but yet when you hit a big bump or a pothole and you hit into your high speed zone, the shock doesn't ramp up like it would in a regular linear valve. So they work really, really well. All right, so let's take a closer look at the 2.5 Performance Elite series by Fox for the INEOS Grenadier. Direct fit, just like the 2.0. It's gonna have stainless steel bushings in there. One thing you're gonna see with the Performance Series shock, it's not like their motorsport shocks. We don't have Heims in here. You really don't want Heims on a street vehicle. They can give you a harsh ride. They can loosen up, you know, on normal street use. And then they're also, everything's aluminum. So this isn't a steel-bodied shock. So it's aluminum body. We do have a big, you know, bigger diameter shaft in here. That bigger diameter shaft, what it does, it pushes a lot more fluid as it goes up into this reservoir. And what that does is we've got this EVO valve here. This is their DSC. And you've got 2 adjustments here. You've got a high speed and a low speed. So your high speed, think of that as not so much the speed of the vehicle, but the speed of the shaft as it's going in and out. And then this is your low speed setting. One thing that I've learned by adjusting these is you kind of want to chase these settings. So as you're setting them, you wouldn't have one set on full hard and one set on full soft. You'd kind of chase them along. So if you're, say, on your high speed setting, say on a 4 or a 5, I might be, you know, at a 2, a 3, something along those lines, and or just within 2 or 3 of each other. So you won't have one on full hard, one on full soft. What that low speed setting does for you, if you're just driving on a mountain road and the vehicle's just kind of swaying back and forth, that's not high speed, that's just low speed. So you can tighten that up, and that'll give you a little bit less body roll, a little bit more control. On the high speed setting, that's going to be for your harsher, bigger bumps, your faster moving bumps. These are the factory length, which is very key. You do not want to run longer shocks so that you can you know, keep that front drive shaft from giving you issues. These are both going to have nitrogen charged reservoirs on them. In this case, this is for the 2.0. It's much smaller, but that allows them to give them a bit more oil in the shock, and then we're putting the nitrogen charge in here. This greatly keeps the shock from not cavitating under compression, and that's primarily why that's there. In the case of this shock, you're going to get your cavitation release from the nitrogen charge in the reservoir, as well as this valve, so that the DSC will help with that cavitation as well. Both these are nitrogen filled. You do not adjust your nitrogen. If you're adjusting your nitrogen to make the shock ride softer, you're basically making the shock cavitate, which is what you do not want to do. So keep the pressure set. The front reservoirs are slightly different. They've got a nice little bracket that enables you to bolt directly to the tower in the front. There's a couple of studs coming off of there. And then as well, we've got a template. We'll supply you the template for the 2.0 or the 2.5. I don't believe that's included in the instructions from Fox, but we supply that. It's available on our website. So some of the differences and what people are going to want to know is where I would use this shock over this shock. Well, obviously budget minded, this shock's going to be more expensive. It's also adjustable, so you have some features there for that adjustability. And if you want, just the cool factor of it, you have it available to you. Honestly, this shock will probably do most of what people are going to want to do. This will work great off-road. In this shock, they can get away with with the larger piston. They can we're running a linear valve shock in here, and then you've got your adjustability here. I'm running these shocks here, and I'm on the set and forget. I kind of just put these down to where I like them, and I leave them. I don't adjust them for street, I don't adjust them for off-road, and I'm very, very happy with these. These will work with factory springs, as well as will work with the aftermarket springs. So that's it. We got the Performance Series 2.0 Remote Reservoir. We've got stainless steel bushings designed specifically for the Grenadier. These will bolt right in, there's no spacers. These are serviceable. The service will be done by Fox. And then you've got the 2.5 Performance Elite. But there you have it, great shocks. I've been running this shock. I've been in several vehicles with these. They actually ride really, really nice. Real comfortable, you get your tire pressure set, get these shocks on there. Doing a lot of the 1.7 kits from Maybach. They work really, really well together.